Hey everybody, welcome back to another Diecast video. Today, we are going through a little bit of a fun one. We are going to be taking a look at every single 2021 Cup Series raced version diecast that has been released. Every single one. Now, you might ask why 2021? 2022 aren't out yet, and I'm starting to run low on 2021 stock, so those are starting to sell out, and I won't have some of them to make videos later. So, we're going to look at every 2021 race win, and I'm going to give you my top 10, but we're going to take a look at all of them. So, we're going to go through from first race all the way down to the last race of the season. I'm going to just give you a quick show because it shows how cool this is. There's Daytona all the way down to Talladega, actually Kansas. We rotate over that way, and that's all the way from Darlington to Phoenix. So we've got every single raced version in 1/24 scale here to take a look at. And I believe all of them are Elite except for one. I have the Elite. I just didn't want to pull it out because it's not one of the wins. It's I'll say it now. It's Elliott's Bristol Dirt version. So, but let's go ahead and jump right into it. First things first, we open up the season at Daytona for the Clash. This was a pretty memorable race. Kyle Busch ends up winning after Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney make contact on the final lap. I don't know. Personally, I've always felt that was just bad spotting on the 12-car part. Don't get me wrong, Elliott sent it in there, but he stayed on the curb at the very bottom of the track and then just got squeezed in there. Like you can't even give a guy a lane if you're up against a curve. So, but at the end of the day, neither of them got the win, which is disappointing because I would have rather both of them gotten the win. But Kyle Busch, after a struggling year in 2020, comes out and got the win in the Clash. Cool part about the Clash, you see a little bit of dust and stuff around the front. They were running through the dirt early on in this race. Other thing you'll see is that 18 all warped up. Looks kind of weird because of some damage. So you can kind of see there's a kind of a weird decaling effect that happened there. It looks like they might have crunched the nose. But yeah, there was a little damage on this car from that race. So otherwise, it's fairly clean. You do have a windshield wiper because it was on a road course. But otherwise, it's a clean yellow M&M's race win, and actually it is the last of the clean M&M's race, or the yellow M&M's race wins we will ever have. M&M's obviously left the sport, and then he won three more times in M&M's cars, but none of them were in the classic yellow M&M's car. So so that's a Clash. Now we move from the Clash to the duels. Two sets of duels. I believe Joey Logano won. I can't remember if Joey Logano or Eric Almirola won one of them. It got DNP'd, but this one did not. Austin Dillon won the other duel in the Bass Pro Shops Trekker Boats car, and you can see here, kind of a neat scheme. I don't remember this car that well because he didn't have a very good 2021, but the all black on the side, the orange top on the roof, like this is a pretty good Bass Pro Shops car. So very, very clean as it is. It's a dual win, so they don't tend to have a ton of damage to them. And you can see just little tiny bits of race detail in different places. You do have the Super Speedway spoiler wicker, so that's kind of always a cool addition. But yeah, overall, not anything super crazy on this car, other than if you're an Austin Dillon fan, and it is a very clean raced version, so those are always kind of fun too. All right, next on the list, we move to the Daytona 500. And on this specific Daytona 500, we had a wild one, ending with a first-time winner in Michael McDowell. This car may not look like it's a great car. Now, it's dual autograph. I like it. But the reason it's kind of really neat is on this side here, you'll see we got a bunch of bare bond and tape on each fender. So that's pretty cool. As it was also his first career win, ended under caution because of the massive crash on the backstretch with Brad Keselowski and Joey Logano. But yeah, this car, obviously it's a Daytona 500 car, so you can't, what else do you say? You got some real good damage, first-time winner, all the things like that, just a good, solid car. Not as much confetti on it as years past for the Daytona 500 either. All right, so we went from Daytona and moved to, Daytona, and went back on the road course. So when we got back on the road course, Christopher Bell picked up his first career win in a little bit of a, I don't want to say controversial race. NASCAR made a controversial rain caution call that flipped the race on its head and ended up really hurting a lot of the guys up front. Larson ended up getting spun on his way back to the front. Elliott got spun on his way back to the front. And at the end of the day, Christopher Bell on the new tires was the first one to get through cleanly and was able to pick up his first career win. good damage on the left side. We love having good damage. Now, this one has dual autographed Adam Stevens and Christopher Bell, but overall, the car has some pretty good race detail to it as far as the race damage and kind of tire marks and stuff. So, definitely a real good one. And yeah, I can't. That's all you really say. This race was a substitute for Auto Club because this was still in that COVID area. Okay. So third on the list, or third on the season for the points races, was the Homestead race. This was won by William Byron. This is actually one of my favorite 2021 wins. Now, I will say, when I said that we're going to go through the top 10 race wins, these are the top 10 must-haves. Not necessarily my favorites, but just the must-haves for a NASCAR diecast collector. And so this one doesn't make the list because in the overall sense of the season, it really has no significant variance or of any kind, but I love this paint scheme. I mean, the matte black is just so sharp. The bright red on the top, I absolutely love this paint scheme, so it's one of my absolute favorites of 2021. It just didn't make the list of the must-haves. So, yeah, William Byron's one win of 2021 was at Homestead, but I absolutely love this car. It's just, I can already tell you, sorry, if you were expecting it in the top 10, it didn't quite make it, but I love that car. Okay, so we went from Homestead, and then we started to make our move out to the West Coast. The first of those races was the Phoenix race, which was won by Martin Truex Jr. He won in the Bass Pro Shops Tracker Boat scheme. I believe he won in this car twice, this paint scheme, that is. Now, there was some good right side damage here on the fender, so that's kind of cool. That we did have some of that damage on there. Right front looks pretty good. But overall on this car, I didn't show the Daytona pin. I'm sorry, I forgot to do that. Where'd it go? I was showing the pins off with them, but none of them have had pins so far because they, again, COVID era. And then after that, I'll have a lot more of them in the later cars here. But yeah, so here's that 19 car for Phoenix. Solid race win, nothing super crazy on it. Like I said, a little bit of damage on the right side, so obviously the Truex fans definitely gotta get, but also I'll just spoil it, I guess. Didn't make the top 10. All right, so next on the list, we went from Phoenix, Arizona, and stayed on the West Coast and went to Las Vegas, Nevada, which is where Kyle Larson picked up his first win in the 5 car. You can see we do get a shredded tire on this one. Corner panel a little folded up. We also have the confetti from the Las Vegas race, the black and yellow. So, yeah, first race in this number 5 car in the HendrickCars.com. He was the best car, just kind of drove off and really just made it look easy, honestly. So had a great race going and went out and won that race. And obviously we know it's the first of many from this season for him. So, yeah, that is the Las Vegas car. And actually that one I think I still have pins available for on the website. So if you're looking, Pennzoil 400, March 17th, 2021. And that is the Kyle Larson Las Vegas win. So, yeah, good race overall. I remember it. It was pretty, I don't want to say low and slow. It was kind of drawn out towards the end, which is okay. Those are good, solid races. And he was able to bring home that checkered flag. All right. Let's see. Am I missing one? I think actually Homestead might have been after that. I might have had a missing one there. I think Homestead might have been after that one. I think I had Byron out of place. Anyway, let's move to the next car on my list, even if it's not quite in the right order. This is going to be the Ryan Blaney 2021 Atlanta race win. He won in the body armor car here. You see a little bit of the star-shaped confetti from the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 400. A little bit of build-up there on the right front, so we do have some of that. And then you can see the right rear also has some significant rubber build-up. This was old school Atlanta. And we do have the race pin for this as well, and I believe I have these on the website as well. Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500 and March 21st, 2021. That's how I knew I don't think there was an off week that early, so I think maybe I had Homestead in the wrong spot. So Homestead, I think, was in between Vegas and Atlanta. But yes, so this is Blaney's first win of the year in the body armor car, and it was the first time he'd actually ever won with body armor on the car as well. Okay. Moving on to our next car. This one is going to be, what else can you call it? Other than one of the most unique cars in NASCAR. This was Joey Logano's 2021 Bristol Dirt win. He won the first ever dirt race. It was the first car to feature the dirt tires in the Cup Series. It wasn't the only time this year we'll see those tires because we end up seeing a little different one later, but got some good dirt down the right side. It is, like I said, I believe this is his only win of the year. Joey Logano only had one win in 2021. It was the dirt race, so this was kind of his one win of the year, and it happened to be on a dirt race. So it's kind of neat to have, you know, the dirt on the windshield, dirt on the front, and then actually the tires you can see are kind of narrow just because of the type of tire they used. So yeah, dirt race at Bristol for Joey Logano. The next race after that was a Saturday night race featuring a Martinsville Speedway. Martin Truex Jr. went out and pretty much just whooped him. He had won that race in 2020 as well, but went out 2021, did the same thing, absolutely whooped the field, and won that Martinsville race. Not a lot of significant damage, a little bit on the right front corner, but nothing too bad. And then left side was a little dent there on the door, but this was the second win in this Bass Pro car, so he won this one in Phoenix. I think the Phoenix was better in terms of race damage, but, you know, both still good, solid cars. Honestly, not a bad paint scheme. I did like that paint scheme, too. Alrighty. So the next car after Martinsville will be Alex Bowman's 2021 Richmond race win. Now, this was a race that featured, I believe it was Hamlin and Harvick kind of battling it out for the lead. I could have been wrong. I know Hamlin was part of it, but these guys were battling for the lead. Late caution came out. Bowman, who had been the fastest car on the track, I know a lot of people hadn't been watching for that because Fox wasn't mentioning it, but I had to watch Bowman drive from like 15th to 4th, and so when that caution came out, I thought he had a good shot, and he went out on the restart, got it done, drove off, and won the race. And this was Alex Bowman's third career win. Kind of came out of nowhere, in all honesty. And overall, it's kind of a cool car. We do have a shredded right or left rear tire and fender. And then we do have, as well as that, nice big number. I like that. Big lettering on the windshield banner as well. No right side window because it is Richmond. So a couple little neat features on that car that I really like. And the race pin for this one is absolutely puny. Look at that. It's absolutely tiny. April 18th, 2021, so little bitty pin. Okay, next on the list is going to be the Talladega Superspeedway's first race of the year. This was Brad Keselowski bringing home the checker in the Geico 500. There you see the official event pin there. You can get that also at rasdiecast.com. So I do have a few of the pins left still. So if you're looking for the pin for this car, or if you're looking for this car, they're both available on the website. And you can see we do have one big piece of bare bond back here. It's the Moneyline car. Only time I think Brad ever won in the Moneyline car. I think it's a really good looking paint scheme overall. Kind of weird to have that Moneyline color on a number 2 car, but yeah, we had the Super Speedway Wicker. This was a race where Matt DiBenedetto kind of went high at the end and just missed the bottom lane to block, and Brad got right by him, and that was on the white flag lap. So this was kind of one I was a little disappointed in because I thought DiBenedetto had a shot and missed it, but this is, as of today, Brad Keselowski's most recent win. I don't think it'll be his final career win. I do think he will win in the 6 car, but as of now, that's what this is. So pretty cool car, though. I do like this paint scheme. All right, next car on the list. All right, I got to stretch it over a little bit. And then I'm going to have to actually start getting up to go get all those other cars because we're down to the May Kansas race. This was, oddly enough, the Bushy McBush race 400 at the Kansas Speedway. That's right, the Bushy McBush race. Or Bushy McBush 400. So very weird race name because they did it online, and that was not the winning title, but they chose that one instead because we all know the other one was definitely inappropriate. But anyway, here we go. Kyle Busch got the win in this one in overtime. Kyle Larson had dominated this race. I was at this one, and the late race, green-white checker that everyone always loves turns into, I think Blaney and Larson got together up the track. Kyle Busch just slides by on the bottom and takes the win. He had swept the weekend, so I did get to see a Kyle Busch sweep, winning truck and cup. Pretty cool paint scheme, honestly. I like the M&M's mix car, where it's kind of yellow on this side, red and brown up on top, and then back to yellow on this side. So I do like the paint scheme, and it's a pretty cool car that, I got to see win in person. So this is one that I think maybe not one of Kyle's best. There's a lot of good ones that he's had, but definitely one of my favorites because, again, I did get to see it. So, but yes, the Kansas win, and I do have those pins as well. So I'll just keep shouting out every time I got a pin. That way you guys know which ones you can go find if you need them. Okay, next race on the list is going to be the Darlington, Goodyear 400. This one was won by Martin Truex Jr., You can see here, it was a throwback to, I believe it was supposed to be a throwback to his 78 car because it was all matte black. Kind of a weird overall look. I don't mind it. I don't think it was that much of a throwback, but you do get the throwback tires, burned up left rear, all chewed up. Let me go to the right side. You can see on the right side here, I feel like the right side should have been chewed up. You can see right side damage all here down the side. It's a very clean car in terms of the matte black is very nice. The rubber buildup is pretty hard to see because of the matte black. Trying to see, does it say right rear? No, it says left. Weird. Just seems like the other tire would have been chewed up, not this one. But yeah, so we do get a chewed up tire. We do get a bent up fender. The matte black car, just crisp and clean. Look at that. Matte black, just really clean. And then again, right side damage is really good on this car. So this is definitely one of my my favorites for the 2021 season. Good solid race win though, for sure. And definitely, you know, Darlington never seems to disappoint with this car. All right, next car on that list is going to be Alex Bowman's 2021 Dover race win. This was the Hendrick 1, 2, 3, 4 race. There's the race pin for that. I forgot to mention the other one. Let me go back. I did it again. All right, there's the Goodyear 400 pin for 2021 for the Martin Truex car. There's the Dryden 400 pin for Dover 2021. And now let's go to the car. This is the Dover race win. This one does have a chewed up left rear tire and fender. Going around to the right side, nothing too bad on this side. He actually, I don't want to call this one a fluke because he ran well all day. That's not the question. But he basically beat Larson out on the last set of pit stops, and Larson just got stuck right behind him and couldn't go anywhere. And so it was a Hendrick 1, 2, 3, 4 day. I mean, they blew the field away, and obviously that was kind of a statement by that team because at the end of the day, you know, Larson I think won 9 or 10 races, counting All Star. And Bowman won 4, Elliott won 2, and so it's all said and done, they won almost half the races that year. But yeah, that's the Ally car. Paint schemes can be, in my opinion, a little bland, but not a bad car overall for the Dover race win. All right, so the next win on the list is going to be kind of an interesting one because this is one out of my personal collection. Now, that being said, I do have them available on the website. I specifically pulled this one because I had to show off some of the official event pins from this first 2021 COTA race. This was the monsoon race. Just rained and rained and rained and actually got called short due to the absolute downpour that was happening at the time of the yellow. So we had the Lumar car. You can see we got our number 9. We've got very clean front end, but we do have the white lettering on the Goodyear tires and quote-unquote rain tires. They're actually dirt tires, but you know what I mean. They're supposed to be the same thing. So a very clean car, kind of an ugly paint scheme in my personal opinion, but overall you do have some kind of neat stuff with these rain tires, the bright white lettering, because that's what the color of the rain tires is, that bright white color. So there is that. And then the first ever COTA race came with like 5 pins. We have this one here. This was just a pin that said 3-piece collector set or whatever for the race. So there's one pin. Then there's just a, I want to say it's just like a track pin. I don't think it actually does anything. You can see there, Texas. Then you see the tower. You can see the layout of the track, and then Speedway Motorsports logo. Then you move on to this next one. This is the actual event pin, the Echo Park Automotive Texas Grand Prix. That was the official event pin, so if you picked one, and then there's actually one that's just the track pin, so NASCAR Circuit of the Americas. So yeah, they had like a 4-piece or 3-piece pin set that I added with mine, and now I keep it with the with my race wins for Chase Elliott, you know, in those clear boxes. So, but yeah. It was Chevy's 800th career or 800th win as a manufacturer, and it was definitely kind of memorable from the monsoon standpoint. Paint scheme was kind of below normal, and then definitely had a lack, I guess, of race damage and dirtiness due to the rain. All right, next car on the list is going to be, sorry, I'm actually getting up and getting these one at a time. It's going to be Kyle Larson's 2021 Coke 600 win. Here's the big Coke 600 pin for 2021, May 30th, 2021. Ugh, a little cat hair in there. All right, there we go. The Coke 600 right there. All right. This one has the, what do you call it, Honor and Remember windshield banner. We got our number 5 here, Metrotech. You do have the Salute to Service tires there. He did win this one pretty handily. It was not an overly dirty car. You can see the front. Got a little bit of build up there. Not much on the right side. Pretty clean back there too. Yeah, just clean kind of all around. Not a ton on it. A little bit of confetti, kind of hit the back, but not much. So just an overall a very clean race win. This one is no longer available on the website. I do have an ARC available yet, but the Elite, this one is in my personal group along with that pin. So, but yeah, overall, Coke 600, what can you say? Crown Jewel event, marquee event. So definitely a good one to note. So that was our last May race. Then we move into June. And June was the month of Kyle Larson. He had won the last race of May. Then he'll go on and he wins the first race in June. This was at Sonoma. You can see it right there. June 6th, 2021, Toyota Save Mart 350. That is the official event pin from that. Those are hard to find, by the way. Toyota Save Mart 350 pins are always a struggle. But yeah, so this is the Toyota Save Mart 350 pin, or car. He won at Sonoma. This was only his third win of the year. That's the crazy part. We're almost halfway through the season by the time we hit Sonoma, and he had only won 3 races. And, of course, we know he goes on and wins a lot more of them. But we do have the windshield wiper there. You can see the right side, pretty clean. Not much on it. Same thing on the left side. It's pretty darn clean. So, overall, it was a pretty clean race. He and Elliott had a little bit of a duel, but Elliott ended up being on older tires at the end and just wasn't going to be able to do anything with him. You know, they were very equal cars. Larson definitely, I think, had the better car, but by the time it was, the better car and on the better tires, it was as close a race as you could ask for, but there was really no shot that 9 was going to get there. All right, so Larson then went on and won the All-Star race at Texas for his 3rd win in a row, weeks-wise, not points race, but, oh my goodness, this is hard to read. There you go, June 13th, 2021, there's the All-Star pin. And then you can see here, we've got the All-Star, or the Texas-shaped confetti. We've got those, what are those on there? Chevy logos there on the roof. You can see them up there. Larson on the windshield banner. It was the high spoiler package, so not overly high on tire wear, so you need not a lot of marks on the front of this car. Not a ton of confetti either. So overall, a pretty clean car. But still an all-star win, right? He now just got his 3rd one this year, so wins on 19, 21, and 23. But yeah, this was his 3rd win in a row. And as I said, it doesn't count in the record book that way because it's a non-points race. But 3 weekends in a row, he was the one walking away with the checkered flag. And he wouldn't stop there. The 4th win in a row for Kyle Larson was at the Nashville Super Speedway, and it's finally in a new-looking car. Now, obviously, he got the MetroTech win at Charlotte, but this one was neat. It was the first time he won in the Valvoline car. A pretty good-looking paint scheme, I would argue. Probably one of my favorites for Larson that year. But kind of clean all the way around. We do get 2 shredded tires. So both the right side tire here, there we go. Right side and left side tires have a little bit of shredding to it. I just realized this is DIN number 3. Kind of cool. It's a low DIN on this one. But yes, this is the Nashville win. Comes with, actually, I shouldn't say comes with. I have both event pins available because it was the first time they ever raced there. So you have this one here, which is just the Ally 400 logo. And this one is called the Guitar Pick logo. So same logo, but just on a guitar pick shape. Both of them, I think, are really cool pins for Nashville. And then, like I said, I remember this race because this was the race Chase Elliott got DQ'd because he had too many loose lug nuts at the end of the race after he limped home a lap down because of how loose the wheel was. And then he lost all his points on top of that. So it was like, well, should have just pitted because you lost all the points anyway. Okay, so then Kyle Larson goes for 5 in a row. 4 in points, but 5 in a row overall. And he goes out and almost does it. He didn't end up doing it because he blew a tire in the final lap in the final corner. And Alex Bowman happened to be there due to pit strategy in second. And I don't want to say inherited the win, but, I mean, let's be honest, this one was kind of an inherited win. Like, it just sort of popped up there. He just sort of got there, and it was one of those that kind of started to really give him that fluky mentality. Not mentality, give him the fluky winner stereotype, I guess. Because in this race, he definitely wasn't the better car. He couldn't hold off Kyle. Kyle ends up beating him, and then Kyle just blows a tire, and he gets the win anyway. So, it's not a super dirty car. There's nothing super noticeable on it. It does have the tall spoiler. The other 2 wins came with the short spoiler. But overall, not a lot of race damage. Just the standard Ally car again. So overall, it was a pretty, what do I call it? A pretty slow race. It really was. I can't speak too highly on it. It wasn't that great a race. And so then this was also back when Pocono was doing the doubleheader. So the next one we're going to bring up is Kyle Busch's Pocono win from the very next day. Now this race, this win is very cool on the story standpoint. The race win, as far as the detail, you can see a little bit of buildup on the right side, a little bit, down the side. But Pocono cars are always very, very clean. So not much you can say on that. There are a bunch of little M&Ms on the roof. You can kind of see them there. And there actually you can see the little container for the M&M's minis. So you can see there is a lot of M&M's on there. That's a cool feature. But this car was neat just on the story alone. Kyle Busch loses, I want to say first gear. Maybe he lost first and second. He lost like maybe all but fourth gear. It was kind of a wild situation. He lost like at least half of his transmission. He could barely get moving off the pit road. Couldn't restart worth a crap. But he didn't need to, because this came down to a fuel mileage race, and not being able to shift actually saved him quite a bit of fuel. So he ends up going out there with only one gear left in the car, and basically no competitive chance to win on lap time. And this was the first time that I think I remember Kyle Busch kind of winning in a very unorthodox fashion. He didn't just straight up go out and beat everybody. He won on fuel mileage at Texas the year before, but still had to outrun a guy. This was the first time Kyle Busch just ran a slower pace and conserved the fuel and went out and won. And so it was cool because he literally had not enough in the car. The car couldn't physically do it, and he went out there and made the car run longer, and that was able to win him the race. So the story behind this one's cool, even if the details aren't quite as crazy, but I do really like that car. Next car on our list is going to be, actually, I have to bring that one from a different spot. This is probably one of my personal favorites, but it's not really a super crazy race. This is Chase Elliott's 2021 Road America race win. This one is a little disappointing from one standpoint. He shredded the rear tires off it, and they gave us the stickers instead of the shredded tires. But they still flat spotted them, so whatever. I don't know why they did that. Whatever. Anyway, overall, this car, pretty normal on both sides. I love this Napa paint scheme, by the way. This was my favorite version of the Napa car when it had these yellow accents on them. So his 2020 and 2019, 2018, this was actually my favorite rendition of all those cars because of the extra yellow. Now, obviously, we're looking at different types of Napa cars, but this one was probably one of my favorite Chase Elliott Napa cars. I love this right side having all the streaks down the side from kind of the beverages and stuff, just having the streaks of liquid run down it. So I always love that when I can see that on the right side. I think that's kind of cool. Windshield wiper and stuff. But this car, overall, not a crazy race win in any way, shape, or form. I just really like it because I love this Napa paint scheme. So it's the only time he won in this car. So I definitely really liked it there. But yeah, he got his second win. Both of them were at road courses. And actually, this is the most recent of Chase Elliott's road course wins. He has not won on a road course since Road America. Now, he's run well, but he hasn't actually won. Okay, next on the list is going to be, there we go. This one is going to be the Quaker State 400 at Atlanta. There you can see the Quaker State 400 pin for July 11th, 2021. This was won by Kurt Busch. This was the final race on the slipping and sliding version of Atlanta. This was right before they turned it into a super speedway. The last winner of that race was Kurt Busch. He was one of the best at Atlanta all time. I mean, he won 2009, 2010, 2009 again? 2008? I don't know. All I know is he won there a lot. So Kurt Busch was always very good at the very old school Atlanta, very, slip and slide, sticker on the bottom. This was the race he and Kyle Busch were really battling hard. Ross Chastain sort of got himself in the way, gave Kurt Busch a lane, and Kurt Busch got by and then was able to hold on for the win. You'll notice no monster logos. Those were on the car, but they weren't allowed to make it. So anyway, at the end of the day, this was Kurt's, we thought, probably final career win. He went out in 2022 and got one at Kansas, but kind of a cool paint scheme, and it is, as I said, Atlanta's final win on the old surface, so definitely has some story to it, but good, solid-looking car. I like the paint scheme. Pretty stout. I like that matte orange. It looks really good. Okay, so we went from Kurt Busch winning his way into the playoffs there, by the way, as well. And then we went to New Hampshire, where we thought things were going to be fairly normal. And then we had a massive rainstorm that wrecked all the leaders early on in the race. Like lap 3 or 4, all the leaders get wrecked because it's downpouring in turn 1. And by the end of the race, we had, honestly, one of the biggest shock winners of the year. It was Eric Almirola winning at the Foxwoods Resort and Casino 301. So there's the pin there. Also, I got pins for both Atlanta and New Hampshire. So if you're looking for those, there they are. And I also have these cars for available. So they're both, if you're looking for them, I'm going to shamelessly plug the website again, rsdiecast.com. But yeah, this car, race detail, not super crazy. There's nothing on it that really like blows you away or something that you can't, find on other race wins. But this is the only time I think that Aric Almirola has won in this standard Smithfield paint scheme that has been produced. A couple of dual wins, but the other one was the Smithfield Baconator, and then before that it was the Air Force car. So in his 3 career wins, this is the only one that's kind of in this paint scheme, and it was kind of weird. He just came out of nowhere and was really fast, and yeah, Christopher Bell was chasing him down at the end of the race. Made it close, but at the end of the day, he was faster, and he ended up snagging the win because of it. So I really like this car, just because, like I said, it is the only time that Aric Almirola won in that Smithfield paint scheme, at least so far. I'd be shocked if he wins in it this year, but I love that car, and it was a good, solid race outside of the rain, of course. Okay, I need a little water quick. I think I'm only about halfway through, maybe a slight bit past. It's definitely taken a toll on my voice. Okay, moving on to our next car. Oh, that feels way better. Yes. All right, next car on the list is going to be the Watkins Glen win for Kyle Larson. This is his, I want to say, 6th win of the year. This one, again, another good battle between Elliott and Larson. Elliott had the better car, Larson had the track position, and by the end of the race, they were chasing each other down, but just not enough time. The 9 couldn't get there, and this was his 5th win of the year. So we do have the windshield wiper there. And then on the right side, we do have the fuel cell fill there. I mean, honestly, nothing super crazy about this car. It's really clean. He started up front and just led all the laps. Like, he just dominated. Elliott made a mistake early and had to drive from literally the back of the field to the front. Did it, but just didn't quite have enough time to get to the lead. So we also do have the, there we go, Go Bowling at the Glen pins here for 2021. Yep, I still got some of them available too. So if you're looking for those, do I have any of these cars left? I do. I've got a couple of elites left. So if you're looking for this car or pin, you know where to go. Okay, next one on the list. This one's fun. I'm putting these cards back real quick because, like I said, I have to walk over and grab each car individually because I don't have enough space to put all of them on my desk. All right, so this one is actually one of my absolute favorites, and the reason is probably not surprising because I was at the race. But this is AJ Allmendinger's Brickyard road course win, and it was the inaugural Verizon 200 at the Brickyard, August 15th, 2021. So that's the pin for that. Oop, dropped it. And I have this one in dual autograph. I decided to pick it up this way. I just thought, screw it. It's a fun car to pick up. Chances of me seeing AJ win again are pretty low. I was wrong. He won Bristol that fall. So I decided to pick this car up in dual autograph, and what do you know? It turned out to be the door. So weird that I have a random AJ Allmendinger door number, especially for the autographed edition, which is, of course, there's a lower number of them made, but definitely a cool one. So got autographs on both sides, but this was just such a weird and kind of unique race. It really got flipped on its head with a caution late in the race. It really flipped the pit strategies upside down. Hamlin and Briscoe up front, they're dumping each other. AJ ends up going through to the lead. Larson and Elliott are in hot pursuit. They were the 2 front runners before that all day, and AJ ends up hanging on and winning in a part-time entry. The 16 was not full-time in that year, and so him winning part-time in this car was kind of cool to have out of nowhere that this part-time entry was able to go out and win a cup race. But yeah, this is one of my favorites from the 2021 season because also I was at the race, but it was just such a memorable race. So many weird, goofy things happened, and just kind of a little clownish, but overall I thought it was a really fun race was the best way to put it. Okay, next on the list, as the playoffs got closer, they had 2 races left to get into the playoffs. Well, Ryan Blaney added some playoff points. The number 12, there we go. The number 12 Cardell Menards car won the Firekeepers Casino 400. Guess what? I got pins for this too. Or do I? Yeah, I do. I got 2 pins left. So if you need them, I only got 2 left. But anyway, so yeah, he won in this car. It's the neon yellow with the red front. I actually really like this paint scheme. I think it looks real sharp. This race was kind of an interesting one. The Hendrick cars were pretty quick out front, but Blaney did sneak by and just held that lead off for the last couple laps. I think this is the only time Blaney's won multiple races in a season, 2021, and this was his second of the year. So it is a fairly clean car. The bright highlighter yellow has rarely seen victory lane on the 12 car, so this is the only one outside of that 2018 dual win. So you get that bright neon yellow rim, I can't speak. The bright neon yellow rims, and then, of course, the bright red front end to it. So I actually really like this car on the paint scheme front. Not a ton of race detail, a little more on the bland side. But overall, it's a solid race win. Like, I don't think any of the race wins for 2021 are super boring. A couple of the Larsons can be, because he also just won so many races that it's like there's so many better ones to choose from. So the last race before the playoffs also was won by Ryan Blaney. This was his second in a row. Won the Coke Zero 400 at Daytona. I have a couple of those pins left as well. Shameless plug. All right, so yeah, this car, I actually don't know if I have any of these cars left, though. Super confetti caked. You'll notice that the body armor bottles have no confetti on them. Ryan Blaney actually cleared that off himself. He chose to clear that off before they took the photos in victory lane. So I do like that. It's organic. They didn't just have to leave a hood blank because a sponsor was going to whine about it. He went out and cleaned it, so it's like still really authentic to what it looked like in victory lane. White rims are a little clean for my taste, but overall, this was probably the heaviest confetti car of the season, without hardly any question. There hadn't been a lot of confetti due to COVID. Every car kind of was missing it, outside of a couple early in the season, and then after this race, we start to see more confetti come back, as normalcy starts to return. But yeah, a lot of confetti. You can see a lot of rubber buildup there too. Look at all the dirt on the front of that car. So really, this is probably my favorite Blaney win of the year. I like the body armor scheme, and I think the overabundance of confetti made it really fun as well. Okay, so in the next car, the next one I'm going to show a couple of kind of honorable mentions before we kick off the playoffs. The first of which is going to be a raced version that's not a race win. You probably know what it is because everybody loves the checkers or wreckers version of some of these cars. Well, guess what? This isn't that. That's right, no checkers or wreckers on this one. Not for the first one. This is Chase Elliott's Bristol Dirt Bristol Dirt car. So you can see a little bit of dirt there on the front. You can see a little piece of bare bond as well. You can see there on the roof, a lot of dirt just kind of built up over there. And then same thing here on the nose. It's a dirt raced version. It's nothing crazy. They didn't make it for any other reason other than to have dirt tires and the fact that, Chase Elliott fans will buy anything. And I'm a Chase Elliott fan, so I bought it. So it worked, right? They made money, didn't they? So, yeah, this was his Bristol Dirt raced version. They only made it for that. It was nothing crazy. He didn't go out and do anything crazy that day, but they made it. And guess what? They're making the Chicago raced version because of the backup car having the white topper to it. So guess what? I'm getting that too. But the next one I'm going to show off, this is another kind of honorable mention, not eligible for the top 10 raced versions of the year, but definitely is one of the best. Checkers or Wreckers from Darlington, Kyle Larson. So you can see HendrickCars.com. I have the pin, by the way, for this and the Hamlin win. So there are those available on the site. But yes, we have our number 5, HendrickCars.com. Bright yellow windshield banner. Round of 16. Everything looks really sharp until we move to the right side. This is where the car gets really good because he tried to video game it. He sent it in on the high side, scraped all along the wall, and he scraped all around the wall as well, the entire corner. And you can see there the damage up on the hood. It's down here on the side, all the way down the door. Just a ton of right side damage on this car. And honestly, just one of the coolest and most memorable finishes we've had before the actual wall ride took place with Chastain. And Sheldon Creed tried it, I guess, at Darlington as well last year. So a couple guys after seeing this were able to make it or try to make it. But the original video game where you really ride the wall all the way around was tried here, and it was commemorated in this diecast specifically. So cool car for sure. But I figured I'd shoot that as a honorable mention before we hop into our final 10 races of 2021. So the first of those races was the one I just showed you, the Cookout Southern 400. So we saw the pin, but we didn't see the race win yet. So Kyle Larson came home second. Winner on that race was Denny Hamlin. So we do have the first time I think we've ever seen the offer pad car reach victory lane. And you can see here, right side fender was tore up. I didn't get a right rear or a left rear chewed up tire, which I was bummed out about. You can see we do have the bright yellow windshield banner. You can see a lot of dirt on the nose on both corners. And then on the right side, he definitely caught pieces of the fence here on the right rear corner. Got a good donut mark there on the side as well. Right front corner is all beat up. Not beat up. A lot of build up and a tiny mark there. But definitely a pretty cool car. I think that's it's a cool win from the standpoint of like different paint scheme. Playoff banners always are a plus. Tore up the fender back here due to the burnout, and then again you got the Darlington stripe down the right side as well. So definitely a pretty cool race win, and like I said, I got pins. So yeah, had to show that one off because it is one of my favorites. Next one on the list, gonna be another Joe Gibbs car, and a guy that hadn't won a race in quite a while. He hadn't won since May at Darlington. This was Martin Truex Jr.'s Richmond night race win. You can see here we've got the Bass Pro Shops car. You might notice it's the red, white, and blue car that he normally runs at like places like Charlotte for the Coke 600. This one was because it was the 9/11 anniversary. So they brought out the red, white, and blue car, bright yellow playoff banner, bright yellow spoiler on it as well. And the confetti's all orange and blue. It was the Federated Auto Parts 400. So you can see that confetti strictly on the windows and on the front grille, and then a little bit on the hood, but that's it. Right side's open. Pretty clean overall. I want to say, did he spin and win in this race? No, that was 2019. A little bit of fuel spillage. So pretty clean as far as race detail, but it is a patriotic paint scheme, so always fun to have the patriotic car. Especially just red, white, and blue is a good thing to celebrate. So always a fun paint scheme to show. Next car on the list was another one that I got to see in person. This was my third race of the year that I got to go see. This was the Bristol night race. And this race was most famous for the Kevin Harvick-Chase Elliott feud after contact on the track led to Elliott's flat tire. And then consequently after that, Elliott basically just blocked the 4 with dirty air for the rest of the race and ended up getting the 5 car to the win. Personally, to this day, I still think that was the best form of payback you can have. He didn't tear up a car, which is what I like. I don't like it when they tear up the cars, but if you're going to sit in somebody's way and be a pain in the butt, hey, maybe don't run into me. I think that's all right. So anyway, let's show this car off because this one's pretty cool. And while we're at it, let me show the pin. Also, I got some extras of these pins. September 18th, 2021, Bass Pro Shops NRA Night Race. And like I said, this one, you'll notice there's antennas in it because it came right out of my display case. Valvoline paint scheme got its second win of the year. That's why the Nashville probably wasn't as highly recommended by me because I think this Bristol car is so much better. The racing was good. Left rear tire you might notice is missing. All of its Goodyear lettering, so there was some contact. Said playoff banner, playoff spoiler. Move it around to the right side. You can see good amount of beat up sides here because he did get into Harvick while passing him. Harvick had him all jacked up and almost sideways going into one of the corners. So a lot of contact, but it's a Bristol car. And Bristol race wins are always really fun. So you can see all the detail there. Front end's all beat up. So good short track car. Love the paint scheme, playoff banner, all of the above. And then, of course, the storylines on top of it just made for a really, really great race. Moving on to the next car, we're going to be taking a look at the Denny Hamlin 2022 Las Vegas race win. This was his second win of the year. Took him forever to get one. He was almost a regular season champion, and then he ends up getting 2 wins in 3 weeks to kind of cap off a weird season. So let's show off the car here. You can see it there. A lot of confetti on it, decent amount of buildup on the front. I'm running short on video space, so I'm going to have to rush these last few. There's the pin. South Point 400. Do got a few of those left over as well. But yeah, so that's the Las Vegas car. Good solid car, but not quite as much as the not as well or highly recommended by me, I guess, as the Darlington one. So the next car on the list will be a first-time winner in Bubba Wallace. He won the Talladega race strictly due to, I shouldn't say strictly, but he won it due to rain shortened. It was a rain-shortened race. We do have a pin here. I don't have any of these left, but October 3rd, 2021. And then it was the breaking of the McDonald's curse. I like this paint scheme a lot more than I liked his older McDonald's paint scheme. Talladega spoiler on the back. A little bit of damage on the right side, but first career win for Bubba, first career win for 2311. Seemed like a must-have for me. All right, gonna keep on rolling. Next win was the final race of the round of 12. This one was Kyle Larson winning at the Roval. Now, this car has a bright pink window net. That's probably the coolest feature of this. Decent amount of confetti. The car's actually pretty clean all the way around. Stayed out of trouble most of the day, even though he had a mechanical issue that they had to fix. But the pink window net's the biggest selling point, along with the playoff banners. So, good solid car, though, for Kyle Larson at the Roval. Moving on to the last round, or the round of 8, we move on to Texas as the first the first race in that round. I have to get the pin out because it's a little bitty pin, but I kind of can't find it. There it is. All right, so let's get the Texas win out here. This one locked Kyle Larson into the round of 4. You can see the Texas-shaped confetti there. We got the windshield banner. Good burnout here on the left side. Move it around to the right side. Pretty clean overall. You do still get that Texas-shaped confetti, though. And we have the Echo Park Automotive 500. Oh, there we go. Race win pin. Little pin, but it is there. All right. Sorry, I have to rush these last few. I just looked at my time, and I only have about 11 minutes, and I still want to show you the top 10. Excuse me. All right. So the third to last race of the year was at the Kansas Speedway. This was the last race I got to attend in person in 2021, so you see an antenna in there. But this one's a fairly clean version, just like the Texas. It's the HendrickCars.com, playoff banner, all that stuff there. Pretty basic, pretty simple. Good right side wall scrape there on the right front and also the right rear. So did have a little bit of contact on this car that really sets it apart. Outside of people who went to Kansas or Kyle Larson fans, this isn't one of his best of the 2021 season, but it is one of the, I'd say, top half. It's top half, but he won 10 races, so that's still like 5th best. Okay, next one we're going to take a look at here is going to be Alex Bowman's 2021. Can't even speak today. 2021 Martinsville win. This was the second to last race of the year. This was the hack comments from Denny Hamlin because he had bumped him out. Not bumped him. He ran him right out of the way. Just ran into the back of him. We do have the Xfinity 500 pin here. I do not have any of these left. Sorry. But yeah, Xfinity 500 pin. You see good amount of right side damage here from some contact in the late race there. Confetti. We actually get some decent confetti on this Bowman car. Right side's all rubbed off, or sorry, left side's all rubbed off on this car. Decent amount of red, black, and white confetti. Right side, right front's all rubbed off. So good short track win. This is probably my favorite Alex Bowman win of 2021, just due to the race detail and the amount of damage to this car. All right, and our last win of the season before we go into our top 10, Kyle Larson Phoenix win. This was the championship winning car because he was able to, win the championship. Obviously, one of the best of the year. Can't say anything else. It's got a huge burnout on this left rear corner. Tons of confetti. We've got playoff banners. Those are always great. And just overall, it's a championship-winning car. This car won a championship, so always going to be one of the favorites. And I have 2 pins for this one because they generally make a few different pins for the championship race. This being number 1. And there we go. And this being number 2. So I do have both championship pins for that car. Definitely an absolute must-have, for any Kyle Larson fan, any NASCAR fan, really. This is a perfect summary of the 2021 season for Kyle Larson, winning a championship. So, anyway, let's slide that off to the side. And now it is time to do our top 10 race wins of 2021. Starting off in the number 10 position. This is a kind of free-for-all. Anyone could have probably scored this one. It's not everyone, but there's a few I have on the list of guys that cars that I would pick. I think for this one, I ended up picking the Darlington win from Martin Truex Jr. Got some good race detail. I love the matte black paint scheme. So I ended up picking this one as our number 10 spot, just because I really did think it was probably one of my favorites from that series. One of my favorites from that season of paint schemes. So that one comes in at the number 10 spot. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, get out of my mouth, stupid bug. Okay, perfect. Got them all. Wanted to make sure I had them all because I wasn't sure if I did. And I'll put that pin on the deck lid. Okay, number 9 on the list is going to be I didn't even show the pin there. The Bank of America Roval 400. There's the pin there. That one is on the list a lot due to the pink window net. That is the first time we've ever seen a different color window net in, I think, hardly any NASCAR race. So that one ends up in there just for that stance specifically on the must-have list, in my opinion. But that's kind of how that one ended up in there. More of a significance of the diecast side than the actual race on track. Okay, 7. Okay, yeah, so, sorry, I have to do some math in my head to make sure I know which one I'm on. Okay, number 7 on the list. This is going to be the breaking of the curse. The McDonald's car broke the curse at Talladega, coming in at the number 8 spot. Number 8 spot must-have is the McDonald's car breaking the curse for Bubba Wallace. First career win, always a good one to pick up there. So we've got that one as well added to the list. Number 6 on that list is going to be a first-time winner, and honestly, a really great race win as well. Christopher Bell's dual autograph, well, not dual autograph, but just Christopher Bell's Daytona win. These are still pretty cheap. You can find them in a lot of places, including rasdiecast.com. But yeah, this one is probably one of my, not my favorites, but it's definitely in that top 10. First-time winner, one of the only wins at that Daytona road course so far, and I mean, that's just what puts it there. Coming in at the number 6 spot. Coming in number 6 on the list. Let me see, make sure. 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay, yeah. So coming in at the number 6 spot is going to be the 2021. Oh, get it. Got it. The 2021 Dover race win for Alex Bowman. This one was not a crazy race win, nothing super crazy, but the story behind it, Hendrick 1, 2, 3, 4, one of the most dominant performances we've seen by a modern team, is definitely what sets this one up as a top 10 car. All right, coming in at the number 5 position is going to be the 2021 Daytona 500 winner of Michael McDowell. I have this dual autograph, but, just the regular car alone got some good damage to it. Obviously, it's a Daytona 500 win. That makes it very significant as well. So you can't ignore the Daytona 500. Just can't. It's too important. So I'll add that one there. Coming in at the number 4 spot, going to be the winner of the Southern 500, Denny Hamlin. And that was just due to the story of the race. Again, we had the car itself is pretty solid, a little bit of damage on there and stuff, but the biggest factor on this race, or I should say in the race that made it really, really fun, was the video game move. So that's kind of what brings it in at number 5, I would say. All right, coming in at number 4. Oops, let me put this in here. There we go. Coming in at number 4 is going to be Kyle Larson's Bristol win. This one, obviously, we're still talking about this Elliott Harvick situation today, so that one's a very memorable race. It was a really, really entertaining race, start to finish. Just a good, solid short track race. So that brings that one in at number 4. Let's see. Did I miss one? I mean, I missed one. 3, 2, 2, 2, 2. Did I miss? Wow, what did I miss? Number 4, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Sorry, now I did some math here. I did the math wrong. That was number 3. Number 2, there we go. Number 2 on the list is going to be A.J. Allmendinger's Brickyard, or Verizon 200 at the Brickyard win. This car, I mean, obviously I was at the race, but it was a very memorable race. The entire playoffs really flipped and changed on that. That Hamlin spin cost him a ton of points towards the regular season championship, and it was just a very entertaining race, start to finish, really. And the number 1 car, probably not hard to guess, it's going to be the Phoenix win. I'm out of space, by the way. I cannot even hold I'm going to have to hold the tripod, or hold my phone. There we go. This is the Phoenix win. This one's going to come in at our number 1 spot, must-have. Tells the story of the season in one car. Literally tells the story. This car dominated. This car won the championship. This car was the best all season long. I'll put that pin on there as well. There we go. Just for funs. There we go. Awesome. So yeah, that's number 1 of the must-haves for the 2021 season. There they are. That is the top 10. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, number 10. So that is the top 10. Obviously, everyone's going to have their own opinions and different races that they remember more memorably than these. These are my top 10s, but I think these are also a great top 10 for any diecast collector. These are a good, solid top 10. All the stories behind the cars from the races they were actually in all the way down to the race damage on the cars themselves that make them look really, really cool. So that's my top 10. Let me know what your top 10 for the 2021 season is. But otherwise, that'll wrap up my video. If you are interested in any of these cars or some of these cars that are available, you can check them out at rasdiecast.com. Just because they're in the video doesn't mean they're available. Like I said, a lot of these cars are coming from my personal side, but just letting you know, that's where you can find them. Use the promo code RaceCraze for 10% out at checkout. Anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. It has been a long video, one of the longest I've ever done. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll see you all in the next Diecast review.